Welcome to episode 427. And as the energy of winter settles in, many of us notice changes in our mood, motivation, and overall sense of vitality. In today's episode, we're exploring seasonal affective disorder through the lens of Ayurveda, why winter can feel emotionally heavier, how digestion and the nervous system play a central role in mood, and what gentle, practical practices can help support you through this season. So please stay tuned. Welcome to the Elements of Ayurveda podcast. I'm your host, Colette. And if you're new to Ayurveda, I recommend starting with the first few episodes where I introduce the foundations of Ayurveda and the doshas. To learn more, work with me, or explore my offerings, you can visit elementshealingandwellbeing.com. And for podcast updates, join me on Instagram at Elements of AyurvedaPodcast. And before we begin, just a quick note to say that this podcast is for educational and inspirational purposes only. It's not intended as medical advice. Now let's dive into this episode. Hey there, and welcome back to the Elements of Ayurveda podcast. And if you've been noticing after the holidays, your energy dipping, your motivation fading, or your mood feeling heavier as the days grow shorter, you're not alone. Every year around this time, I hear from so many people who say, I just don't feel like myself, or I feel flat, foggy, or disconnected, and I don't know why. Seasonal Affective Disorder, or S.A.D, is often explained purely through the lens of brain chemistry or lack of light. While those factors matter, Ayurveda offers a much more compassionate and holistic understanding. From this perspective, what you're experiencing is not a personal failure, not something to push through, and not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a natural response to seasonal changes in light, temperature, routine, and digestion. In Ayurveda, we expect winter to slow us down. The problem arises when that natural slowing down turns into stagnation, physically, mentally, and emotionally. In this episode, we'll explore how Ayurveda understands seasonal mood changes, why digestion plays a central role in mental health, and how gentle daily practices can support you through the darker months. We'll also talk about how a gentle digestive reset and supporting your gut can have a profound impact on mood, clarity, and emotional resilience. So let's take a look at understanding S.A.D through an Ayurvedic lens. Ayurveda teaches us that the mind and body are inseparable. What affects the body affects the mind, and what affects the mind inevitably shows up in the body. Seasonal changes influence not just how we feel emotionally, but how we digest, sleep, move, and process information. From an Ayurvedic perspective, winter brings changes to the doshas, especially Kapha and Vata, to our Agni, our digestive and metabolic fire, to prana, the subtle energy responsible for mental clarity and enthusiasm, and ojas, which governs resilience, immunity, and emotional stability. When these systems are supported, winter can feel grounding and restorative. There can be a sense of inward focus, reflection, and nourishment in the slower pace of the season. However, when they're not supported, we may experience heaviness, low mood, fatigue, anxiety, or a sense of emotional withdrawal. From an Ayurvedic and yogic perspective, winter also tends to increase the mental quality or guna Tamas, the quality of heaviness, inertia, and dullness in the mind. This does not mean that something is wrong. It simply means the system is responding naturally to darkness, cold, and reduced stimulation. When tamas accumulates without adequate support, it can begin to cloud both energy and mood. So let's take a look now at the dosha story of winter mood changes. Early winter is when the Vata dosha is still high from the autumn transition from Vata season. And at the same time, winter routines, shorter days, and disrupted rhythms can aggravate the Vata dosha, leading to anxiety or restlessness, loneliness or disconnection, rumination or overthinking, and irregular sleep and appetite. And then late winter is primarily a Kapha season, cold, heavy, moist, slow, and dense. These qualities accumulate naturally in the body and mind. When Kapha becomes excessive, it can manifest as lethargy or fatigue, low motivation or apathy, emotional heaviness or sadness, and wanting to sleep more or withdrawal socially. This combination explains why many people can feel both heavy yet unsettled during this time of year. Ayurveda does not see this as contradictory. It's a sign of multiple doshas being affected at once. And so now let's look at why digestion is central to mood and mental health. One of the most important concepts in Ayurveda is that mental clarity depends on clear digestion. We don't just digest food, we digest experiences, emotions, thoughts, and sensory input. Every interaction you have with the world has to be metabolized, just like a meal. When Agni, the digestive and metabolic fire, is strong and balanced, digestion becomes a foundation for both physical and mental well-being. When Agni is functioning well, nutrients are absorbed properly, supporting the tissues and the brain. Energy levels are steadier throughout the day. The nervous system feels calmer and more regulated. Sleep tends to be deeper and more restorative. Immunity and resilience are strengthened, and the mind feels clearer, more focused, and emotionally stable. In this state, the body has enough energy not just for survival, but for perception, reflection, and emotional processing. This is one reason Ayurveda places digestion at the very center of mental health. When Agni becomes sluggish or irregular, Ama, the undigested or improperly digested residue, begins to form. Ama is not just limited to the gut. Once it accumulates, it starts to circulate throughout the body and lodge in different tissues and channels. When Ama affects the manovahashrotas, which is the channels of the mind, it can cloud perception and weigh down emotional processing. And this often shows up as brain fog or difficulty concentrating, heaviness in the body and mind, low mood, apathy, or emotional dullness, feeling unmotivated, stuck, or resistant to change, and increased need for sleep that does not feel refreshing as it increases the heaviness of the Kapha dosha. From an Ayurvedic perspective, this heaviness is not just physical, it is energetic and psychological. Let's now talk about digestion, Ama, and the Tamas guna. I mentioned Tamas guna a moment ago, and the other two gunas are Sattva and Rajas. Now, gunas are the qualities of the mind which are constantly shifting and influenced by everything we expose our senses to. And Sattva is the quality of clarity, lightness, awareness, and balance. Rajas is the quality of movement, stimulation, activity, and restlessness. And Tamas is the quality of heaviness, inertia, dullness, and darkness. During winter, Tamas guna naturally increases. Cold, darkness, heaviness, and stagnation all feed Tamas guna. Weak digestion can also increase tamas, and this could increase ama, toxins, which in itself is deeply tamasic in nature. When the tamas guna increases in the mind, we may experience a lack of motivation, withdrawal or isolation, mental fog or confusion, oversleeping or feeling unrefreshed after sleep, and a sense of emotional numbness or hopelessness. It's important to understand that this does not mean that something is wrong. It means that the system is overwhelmed and needs support. Clear digestion is one of the most effective ways to reduce excess tamas. When Agni, our digestive fire, is rekindled and the ama is cleared, the tamas heavy quality gradually lifts. The nervous system feels less burdened. Sleep becomes more nourishing rather than excessive, and sattva naturally increases, bringing clarity, lightness, and emotional steadiness. A sluggish gut often mirrors a sluggish mood. This is why addressing seasonal depression without addressing digestion often feels incomplete. By supporting Agni, the digestive fire, gently and consistently, we give both the body and the mind the tools they need to move forward from heaviness towards clarity, without force or self-judgment. So let's move into practical ways that you can support yourself during winter. These are not about doing more, they're about doing the right things consistently. The first one being establish anchoring rhythms, known as dinacharya, daily self-care practices in Ayurveda. One of the most powerful medicines for the nervous system is rhythm. Consistency will calm both Kapha and Vata doshas. Even if you don't change anything else, try focusing on waking up at the same time each day, even on the weekend. And ideally, this will be around 6:30 a.m., the latest 7 a.m. Creating a gentle morning routine before checking your devices, like practicing yoga to promote heat and circulation on the cool mornings, moving the lymphatic system, followed by dry brushing and abhyanga, the warm oil massage in Ayurveda. Following that with a warm shower, or if you do not have time in the morning for the oil massage, then just do the dry brushing before your shower in the morning to promote stimulation, and then perhaps do the oil massage at night if that works better for your schedule. And then eating meals at regular times, ideally within an hour window. These rhythms signal safety and predictability to the body and mind. Over time, they help stabilize mood and energy without force. The next practical tip is to kindle your Agni, your digestive fire, with warming foods and spices. Winter is not the time for extremes. From an Ayurvedic perspective, mood support starts on the plate. Focus on the foods that are seasonal and local. Like this time of the year, it's all about root vegetables and squashes and local greens. Warm foods always, like soups and stews and warm liquids. And using lots of warming digestive spices at this time of year. Cinnamon, cardamom, ginger, cumin, black pepper. Introducing these warming spices into your diet will really benefit the digestive system. These foods support the Agni without overwhelming it. In contrast, excessive cold, raw, heavy, or ultra-processed foods will increase the Kapha dosha and contribute to ama, toxin formation, which can deepen both physical and emotional heaviness. And the third tip here would be light therapy, Ayurvedic style. Ayurveda recognizes light as nourishment for the mind. While modern light therapy can be helpful, simple daily practices can be just as powerful, like that of morning sunlight exposure, even on cloudy days. First thing in the morning, get out into the sunlight without sunglasses, and this will help to regulate your circadian clock and the regularity of the sleep-wake cycle. And in your home, use warm, soft lighting rather than harsh overhead lights. These practices support prana vayu, a subdosha of the Vata dosha, helping to lift the mind and restore a sense of vitality. The next tip would be to move to circulate stagnation. Movement is one of the most effective tools for Kapha-related low mood or depression. The goal is circulation, not exhaustion here. Supportive movement could include daily walking, gentle vinyasa or slow flow yoga, breath-led movement practices. Even 10 to 20 minutes a day can shift the energy significantly, and ideally in the Kapha time of the morning between 6 to 10 a.m. Doing these activities with your partner, your friends, or in a group setting is great for accountability, support, and social interaction. Movement helps emotions move as well, preventing them from settling into stagnation. And the final tip here is Ayurvedic herbs. Ayurveda has a long tradition of using herbs to support digestion, clarity, and emotional resilience. And before I mention these Ayurvedic herbs, please always consult with an Ayurvedic professional when introducing herbs, as you want to make sure the advice is tailored to you. And herbs are most effective when paired with diet and lifestyle changes, which should be provided in an Ayurvedic consultation also. So some commonly used Ayurvedic herbs are ginger and trikatu to rekindle the Agni, the digestive fire, Tulsi to support emotional clarity and resilience, and ashwagandha used appropriately to nourish the nervous system. And again, personalized guidance is extremely important in Ayurveda. And so I always recommend working with a qualified professional. And if you would like support, then check out the show notes for my online services or just visit my website, elementshealingandwellbeing.com. Winter is not meant to be a season of constant productivity. Ayurveda teaches us that nature rests during this time of year, and so should we. Low mood or depression often has a component of stagnation, not just chemically, but emotionally. When feelings aren't allowed space to move, they settle. And so it's important to support emotional digestion by, for example, journaling. Or if journaling is not for you, then a gentle breathwork practice, or quiet reflection, or intentional rest without the guilt, or perhaps professional therapy is appropriate for you. These practices help emotions metabolize rather than accumulate. And a gentle cleansing process can be very supportive with seasonal mood changes. A well-designed digestive reset that's tailored to you and your lifestyle can help rekindle Agni, your digestive fire, can help to clear accumulated ama, the toxins that are circulating your system, can support the gut-brain connection, and can restore lightness, clarity, and emotional resilience. So rather than forcing transformation, we create the conditions for the body and mind to recalibrate naturally. Now, if you're feeling heavy, foggy, or emotionally stuck, then you may be interested in my upcoming discounted group Digestive Reset Cleanse, which is starting January 23rd. It's designed specifically for times like this. It's a nourishing, holistic reset rooted in Ayurvedic principles, not deprivation and not extremes. In this group Digestive Reset Cleanse, we focus on warming foods, consistent rhythms, and simple daily self-care practices that support both digestion and mental clarity. You'll receive guidance, structure, and community, something that's especially important during this time of year. If you feel called to join, you'll find all the details in the show notes. And as we close out here, I want you to remember that seasonal affective disorder does not mean that something is wrong with you. It means your system is responding to seasonal cues. With warmth, rhythm, digestive support, and compassion, winter can become a time of restoration rather than struggle. And if you know of any family or friends that are struggling with S.A.D at this time of the year, then please share this episode with them. This wisdom of Ayurveda can be really helpful to navigate this season. And if you're looking for an Ayurvedic community, then check out my new Elements of Ayurveda podcast community. I'll put the link in the show notes or just visit my website, elementshealingandwellbeing.com. And don't forget to follow or subscribe so the new episodes download automatically. And please come join me on social media. On Instagram, it's Elements of Ayurveda Podcast. And on Facebook, it's Elements Healing and Wellbeing. And if you would like to leave a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcast, I would really appreciate that. So until next time, please take good care of yourself, be well, and bye for now. Slán go fóill.